Hey everybody, so it's time for a new build. I didn't really show any of the process like I have in the past. I've just been trying to get these things going as quick as possible, and taping the actual process kind of slows me down a lot, so sorry about that. But I just wanted to show this off and kind of give a bit of a backstory to it, tell you what I've done, you know, the spec and all that. So this guy named Jeremy from Canada sent me a message one day saying, you know, I really want to do a hot pink Jazzmaster just like Matt Skiba has. And this was right around the time that I was painting the pink Jazzmaster that was closer to this style for a guy named Sean out west. And at that point, like, I was having a lot of trouble with the paint, and it was becoming a hell of a process, and I just didn't really want to do that again. As much as it sounded cool to do a more Matt Skiba style setup, I knew right away that I didn't want to do the hot pink. I didn't really want to paint it myself because the paint process is very involved, and it's kind of hit or miss, and I'm not super confident in my abilities with that yet. But so I convinced him to just choose a color on Warmouth. And while at first it seemed like we were going to do graffiti yellow, which would have been really cool, he ended up going for this candy tangerine, which is also very nice. Definitely not something that I would think to go for, but you know, if I saw this up in a shop or something, you know, I certainly would pull it down and give it a strum. One thing I did forget to mention, Warmouth used to do like a neon pink. I don't know how close it is to like Matt Skiba's or Mark Hoppus's hot pink guitars, but I know they did that for a while, but for some reason they got rid of their whole neon color line. So that's unfortunate. The only other like pink color they have is just shell pink, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he ended up choosing Candy Tangerine, which I thought was really cool. It's not something I see too often, but there is some Candy Tangerine fenders out there, and I don't know, I never really noticed them until I started this build, and I was like, oh yeah, that's Candy Tangerine, I guess so was that one. And I just kind of noticed the whole color. Like, it was just something I had never really paid much attention to. It is a metallic color. I don't know how well you can really see it, but it definitely has like a slight flake to it. Not like a crazy like sparkle or anything like that, but it's a really nice understated look. This does have a EMG 57 pickup in it, which I do believe is what Matt Skiba uses. I'm not 100% sure on that. It's just got the single volume knob. And this doesn't have a hardtail bridge like most of the Jazz Masters I do. This has the standard tremolo system basically, but it's locked in, so it's not really using that bar. And it's been holding tune really, really well. I recorded a cover just before this video with this, and it held tune super, super well and had really no issues with it. The back, you can see, has one of those battery pack, access panels there. Panels, if you want to call it. First time I've done one of those on a guitar, and that was super easy to do. Definitely a lot easier than, hiding the 9-volt under the pick guard and having to fish that out every time the battery dies. That's no fun. This doesn't have a standard Jazz Master, what is it, like a tailpiece or whatever you call it, the bridge here. It's got like a Les Paul style, which can be found on some Jazz Masters and Jaguars, I guess, but it's not super common, but it's cool, it works. Perloid pickguard, just the regular output jack there. I usually call it input jack, but yeah, output jack. And this has a Warmoth neck. It does say Fender on it, I'll get to that in a second. Maple neck. It's actually got just a very slight flame to it, which is pretty cool. And it's got the walnut skunk stripe on there. This has a Pau Ferro fretboard. One of the things I told Jeremy when ordering is that shipping rosewood is very tricky these days, overseas or across borders. And I knew right off the bat it was something that I didn't want to take any part in. So he was very cool with going with the Pau Ferro, and gotten a really nice piece. I mean, it's not dark brown, but it's a nice medium kind of toned brown. I've seen some that are like really light brown that I just don't like at all. I don't want anything to do with that. But this is pretty nice. But I do prefer, the darker rosewoods personally. It has like the roller style string tree, which he wanted, and Fender locking tuners. These are by far my favorite tuners. I don't know how well you can see them on there, but they're super, super easy to use. They tune really, really well. They have a really nice high gear ratio, which makes it easier to fine tune, which is, I believe, 18:1, which means you have to turn this 18 times for it to make one loop around, basically. And that really lets you fine tune pretty well. If you're using like a Spurzle or something like that, not only is the thumb wheel on the back to tighten a lot less comfortable to use, like this is pretty comfy, to tighten. You can really tighten that string in with a Spurzle. Like anytime I've used a Spurzle, like it's tough on your fingers to really tighten down. But their gear ratio is way less. It's like a 12:1, so you can't really fine tune quite as well. So that's unfortunate, but yeah, I always recommend these. I mean, they're basically the same thing as the Schaller style, which I've seen on like some Fender custom shop stuff. But These are like $50, I think, on average, depending on where you look, and I think the Schallers are like over $100. The Schallers are definitely beefier. I'm not sure what the gear ratio is, but these are as good as I could ever need a tuner to be. The logo was an aftermarket logo. Like I said, this is a Warmoth neck for sure, and it had Jeremy had wanted me to put a logo on the neck, and this is actually the first time I'd ever put the logo on and sprayed over. And this was an already finished neck, so it had a finish on there already, and I was kind of nervous about doing it, but I think it came out really well. It's pretty hard to see the outline. I mean, you can see it just barely, but it's on there really good, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out, and I think it really looks the part. It looks great. So that's basically all I have to say about this. I'm not taking any commissions right now. I know a lot of people are asking me about it. I'm more in the process of just putting together whatever I want to do and then just letting people buy them if they want to. It's just a lot easier for me to deal with. Maybe I'll do more commissions in the future. I'm not 100% sure, but for right now, this is going to be one of the last ones. I got a couple other things possibly lined up, but we'll see what happens. Keep an eye out for a cover. Using this guitar, I recorded a cover, like I said, just before this one, with Matt Skiba in it, obviously. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy, and let me know if you have any questions or anything like that. I'll see you later.